everyone. I'm so sorry.
Chaos on campus.
Coward, punk piece of shit.
Do you want to go out and make an appearance?
No.
Security, get the out of here.
Antifa militants and transgender activists tried to hijack a Turning Point USA event at the University of Washington.
Don't touch me again.
They broke windows, banged on doors, and pulled fire alarms numerous times in Thompson Hall, intimidating students to the point where they felt unsafe.
So walk us through, what was it like when this incident first started taking place? And we've got the video playing here on the side.
Well, of course, as soon as I landed on campus, there was backlash. There were posters every 10 feet telling me to leave campus, that I was a bigot, organizing the rally against my event. But of course, University of Washington knew about me coming to campus because they offered safe spaces and extra counseling for the students who were triggered by my arrival on campus. At first, it was what seemed to be a peaceful protest, which of course I encourage. I promote free speech. I think it's great to have organized peaceful protests. However, very quickly, it became violent in the span of 0 to 5 minutes. They were starting off line dancing to country music, of all music, kind of ironic. But they were line dancing, choreographed. They had flags and flyers and posters and all those things. But very quickly, it turned into Antifa showing up. So it was about 200 protesters plus self-proclaimed Antifa, shining lights in my eyes, making sure we couldn't say anything or, record. You literally could not record because they were shining the blinding lights in your eyes. So we quickly went inside, where we were about to let students in, and immediately the fire alarms were pulled. Therefore, all the doors were shut. No one was letting the students in. The police officers weren't letting students in because of the fire alarm. And then Antifa and the protesters continued to surround all the exit and entrance points around the building. So we literally could not leave the building. I was essentially held hostage with the Turning Point group, with the security officers in the event space. Which was terrifying at points. Of course, I knew we would be okay, we'd be safe eventually because we had the security officers with us. But it was terrifying to know that hundreds of protesters hated my message so much about free speech and protecting women's sports that they felt the need to start breaking windows and pulling fire alarms and blockading us into the room. It was simply terrifying.
Now, were there any students or yourself injured in any of this?
No one was injured that I know of. Of course, there was property damage. The windows were broken. They were throwing things through the windows. The fire alarms were pulled, which is not okay. They wasted the fire department's time. No arrests have been made, of course, because the school was going to protect the students. But they have yet to reach out to Turning Point or myself, condemning the violence of the protesters or asking if the Turning Point students got home safely. But keep in mind, they offered the safe spaces for the protesters.
And this is what we see again and again. So let's talk about that though, unpack it. What was the school's response? I mean, are they pressing charges? Are they going to be arresting? Have they helped identify these assailants? Are they working with victims? I just don't quite get that their muted response here.
So they actually released a statement the day after, 2 days after, blaming me. Blaming the Turning Point group for the violence that occurred on the 21st. They essentially said that I went to campus with the intent to get dramatic social media content, that I went to campus with the intent to stir the pot, which is not true. I went to campus with the intent to share the message that we deserve free speech, that DEI should not be in our education systems, and that women deserve equal opportunity in sports, that they deserve access to single-sex spaces in their locker rooms and bathrooms. That's my intention. That's why I went to campus, to share that message with the Turning Point students and the other people who wanted to show up to the event. I certainly was not there for dramatic social media content. I certainly wasn't being dramatic when they were breaking windows and holding us hostage in a room. So for University of Washington to go out there and essentially blame me, Turning Point, is absolutely disappointing. Not shocking though. University of Washington has a history of this issue. But of course, we saw Donald Trump sign the executive order that, universities that aren't supporting or promoting free speech will lose all of their federal funding. So that's certainly something that we could only hope to see in this situation.